All right, so picture this. Ankh-Morpork's in the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it's so hot, even death has decided, you know what, I'm going to take up beekeeping.
Beekeeping.
Yeah, as a hobby.
Death.
Death, yeah.
Wow.
But that's not even the weirdest thing going on.
Okay.
Things are getting really strange up at Unseen University.
Oh, no.
But today we are going on a deep dive, and we're going to be talking about Eric Thursley, this young demonologist.
Okay.
Who is, well, he's trying to summon a demon.
I'm ambitious.
A powerful demon. But, you know, he's kind of messing with forces that he doesn't quite understand.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these classic stories, right? It's that whole, like, I want ultimate power, but without, years of study, without the hard work.
Right.
Kind of like a Faustian bargain, but, well, with the Discworld, things rarely go according to plan.
Yeah, that's where Rincewind comes in, right?
Ah, yes. Wait a minute.
So it's not exactly like a big scary demon he ends up summoning.
No. See, what happened is during the summoning, Eric, he kind of caused a tremor in reality. And this tremor, well, it yanks Rincewind, who you know.
Everyone knows Rincewind.
Right. The Disc's most, inept wizard.
Inept's putting it mildly.
Yeah. And his, let's just say his greatest skill is running away from danger as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So picture this. Rincewind's just minding his own business, probably in some, obscure dimension, and suddenly he's yanked back to the disc, right in the middle of all this chaos that Eric's cooked up.
I bet the librarian had a field day with that one. Up at Unseen University.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the librarian, they see all those cosmic threads, all coming together. And Rincewind, with his incredible ability to attract trouble, I mean, he was practically destined to end up in this mess.
Right. So we've got Eric who wants power. We've got this super unreliable wizard at his disposal. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, you've got the classic 3 wishes, but each one of them, well, it goes spectacularly wrong, and it's hilarious. First wish, he wants to rule all the kingdoms in the world.
Simple enough.
Simple, right, you'd think. But no, they end up in the Tezuman Empire.
Ah, the Tezuman.
A brutal civilization. They're obsessed with, documenting how each day is just a little bit worse than the last.
I've heard about that.
And their chariots. Don't even get me started.
Pulled by llamas, right?
Pulled by llamas, carried by runners. It's a rough ride.
Not exactly the kind of grand palaces Eric might have been hoping for?
No, not at all. In fact, they mistake him for a god.
Uh-oh.
And they almost sacrifice him.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And I can just imagine Rincewind trying to blend in, probably hiding behind his luggage.
Wait, hold on. Back up a sec. His luggage.
Oh, yes, the luggage. You see, Rincewind never goes anywhere without it. It's hard to describe. Imagine like a chest with hundreds of little legs, but it's also homicidally protective of Rincewind. And it doesn't really like anyone who threatens him. Let's just say the Tezuman jungle was not prepared for the luggage.
So, okay, rulership of the world, that's out. What about wish number 2?
Wish number 2. So Eric wishes to meet the most beautiful woman in history.
Okay.
Now, this is where Pratchett's satire is it's genius. He kind of leaves it to the reader's imagination what exactly beauty standards were back then.
Oh, I bet they were very different from today.
Let's just say that Eric's idea of romance probably didn't involve quite so much historical accuracy.
Okay, 2 wishes down. Spectacular failures, both of them. What's the grand finale?
Immortality, of course.
Of course.
But this one, well, it might top the charts in terms of unintended consequences, because the wish sends them hurtling back to the very beginning of the Discworld.
Ooh.
We're talking about a chaotic, formless void, no pizza, no Saturday night, definitely no girls.
That's not really the eternal paradise he was hoping for.
Not quite, but at least he's got Rincewind and the luggage for company.
So picture this, right? Falling through space, alongside the luggage, and probably Rincewind's pet parrot. Even at the beginning of time, that luggage is determined to stick by its master.
Oh, yeah. Makes you wonder if the luggage has its own weird form of immortality.
Right. I mean, if anything could survive the creation of the universe, it would be the luggage. But this whole thing, this whole series of mishaps, it really shows how unpredictable fate is. You can't control it, even when you're messing with demonic forces.
It's like trying to plan a trip through a city where the streets rearrange themselves every few minutes.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
That's right. You might have a destination in mind, but that journey is going to be wild. So they've dodged human sacrifice.
Somehow.
They've encountered beauty standards that would make even the bravest soul cringe.
Yeah.
And they've witnessed the very birth of the Discworld.
What happens next? Do they even find their way back?
Well, that's where things take a turn for the, well, let's just say bizarre. Remember that demon Eric was trying to summon? Turns out he did manage to contact something demonic, just not in the way he was hoping.
Now I'm really intrigued. What did he unleash?
Well, it turns out that hell, well, it's had a bit of a makeover.
Right.
Instead of that fiery pit of eternal torment you might expect, well, it's become something a lot more relatable and honestly a lot more terrifying.
You're not going to tell me hell has gone corporate, are you?
Worse, it's become a bureaucratic nightmare.
Oh, no.
Think endless paperwork, soul-crushing regulations, meetings that could make a saint scream. Even demons, it seems, are not immune to the horrors of modern administration.
So they're escaping the chaos of creation just to end up, like, drowning in a sea of demonic paperwork.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant satire. Pratchett at his best. He takes something we all fear, that soul-crushing monotony of bureaucracy, and he puts it in hell.
Okay, I'm dying to hear more about this bureaucratic hellscape. Who's in charge of all this paperwork, and how do Rincewind and Eric even navigate it?
Well, that is a story for part 2 of our deep dive. We'll meet the Demon King, who's obsessed with modernizing hell, explore the hilarious consequences of this whole efficiency drive, and of course we'll see how the luggage deals with demonic paperwork.
So Rincewind and Eric, they're facing, like, the ultimate horror. Demonic bureaucracy.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, who knew hell was all about TPS reports and deadlines?
Enough to make you feel sorry for the demons. Almost.
Almost. But it is such a great satire of modern life, don't you think? I mean, Pratchett takes this thing, this frustration, the boredom of bureaucracy, something we all experience, and just, like, cranks it up. Makes you wonder if maybe, our world isn't so different from hell sometimes.
Right. Like, haven't we all spent hours on hold with customer service stuck in that phone tree?
Ugh, don't remind me. It's like a little taste of hell right here on Earth.
Exactly. That's what makes Pratchett so good. He takes those everyday annoyances and just shows how absurd they really are.
But, we should probably talk about the mastermind behind this whole bureaucratic nightmare. The Demon King, Ankh-Morpork.
Ankh-Morpork. It's not exactly a name that strikes fear into the hearts of mortals, is it?
Not anymore, no. See, Ankh-Morpork is, well, he's obsessed with modernization. He wants to bring hell kicking and screaming, into the 20th century, all that efficiency, all that organization.
So instead of fire and brimstone, it's like spreadsheets and staplers.
As much, yeah. He wants hell to run like a well-oiled machine, every soul process, maximum efficiency. He's got those colored marker pens, for highlighting the important documents, speaking tubes for interdepartmental communication, and coffee breaks every hour, on the hour.
Can you imagine the demons, like, grumbling about filling out triplicate forms for every soul they torture?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, a lot of them, they miss the old days when things were, simpler, even if it was more cruel. There's this one demon,
Urgle-Flogga.
Yeah, he represents that longing for the past, complains about the music in hell, says nobody appreciates a good scream anymore.
It's like better the devil you know, right?
Yeah.
Even in hell, people hate change.
Exactly. And as Fragwell, with his good intentions, he accidentally creates a system that's even more dehumanizing, even more soul-crushing than the old ways.
That's almost tragic. In a funny way, I guess.
Yeah.
This demon king wants to conquer boredom with paperwork, ends up creating a system that's even more boring.
Yeah, and it makes you think, is Ankh-Morpork really evil? Or just, really misguided?
Is he deliberately trying to make hell worse? Or is he just clueless about what he's doing? Like that time, I tried to help my friend organize their closet, and it just made it messier.
Exactly, and that's what I love about Pratchett's characters. They're not just good or evil, they're complex, flawed. They stumble into these situations.
But this whole bureaucratic thing, it's also about our world, right? How we often choose efficiency over compassion.
All the time. We build these systems, and then we get so caught up in the rules, we forget about the human element.
Like those automated phone systems.
Mm-hmm.
You got to jump through hoops just to talk to a real person.
It makes you miss the days of just yelling at a customer service rep.
But okay, so Rincewind and Eric, they're in hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes you think about free will. They're there because of Eric's wishes.
So are they victims of fate, or are they responsible for their choices?
That's a tough one.
It is. And Pratchett doesn't give easy answers. He gives us this chaotic universe where chance and consequence, well, they rule. But he also shows us characters who, even with their flaws, make choices that matter.
It's like we can't always control what happens, but we can control how we react. Right.
And Rincewind's reaction, of course, is to run. He may be cowardly, incompetent even, but he's resilient. He survives.
Like he can sense danger. Always the wrong place at the right time.
And his escape from hell, it really shows his unique skills. He doesn't fight, he doesn't argue, he evades.
And the luggage. I bet it's not happy about all this paperwork.
Oh, the luggage hates paperwork. It sees rules and regulations as like a personal insult. And let's just say its escape method is a little unorthodox.
I'm picturing splintered wood. Terrified demons.
Let's just say the doors of hell never quite recovered.
But Eric, does he get out of this bureaucratic mess too?
Well, Eric's escape is more philosophical. He starts to realize that real power, it might not be about ruling kingdoms or living forever. It's about understanding how things work, accepting that life is unpredictable, and maybe even learning to laugh at it all.
So he's seen the humor in his terrible choices.
Yeah, kind of. He's realizing that maybe chasing power isn't all it's cracked up to be, that sometimes the best thing to do is just go with the flow, see where it takes you.
Sounds like Rincewind's philosophy. Run away, hope for the best, let the luggage handle the rest.
Pretty much. But while they're escaping, there's another story happening. Remember Vasnego, the scheming demon lord?
Yeah, the one who was manipulating Astriel.
All right, well, he sees an opportunity in all this.
Oh, this is going to be good. What's he up to?
He's a master manipulator, and he knows that Astrical's obsession with efficiency, that's his weakness. So he starts feeding it, suggesting new forms, new rules, new departments.
It's like giving an alcoholic a bottle of whiskey and saying, this will help you sober up.
Exactly. And Astrical he's blind to it. He embraces every new layer of bureaucracy, sinks deeper and deeper into the nightmare.
It's like he's punished for his arrogance, thinking he could bring order to hell.
Yeah, there's definitely some karma there. But it also shows how power dynamics work. They're always changing.
So even in hell, the rules are fluid, nobody's safe.
That's power for you. Unpredictable. And as we'll see in the last part of our deep dive, this power struggle, it has some unexpected consequences. Not just for Astrical and Vasnego, but for hell itself.
Okay, now I really want to know what happens to hell. Does it just, like, explode with paperwork? Or is there hope?
Well, to find out, we'll have to explore the final act of Eric and Rincewind's demonological misadventures. We'll see what happens to Astrical and his ambition, witness the fate of all that paperwork, and discover what becomes of our wannabe demonologist and his eternally fleeing wizard friend.
So we've seen Eric's wishes go, well, disastrously wrong. And we've seen what happens when you try to bring order to chaos with all that demonic paperwork. But what happens to it all in the end? I mean, does anyone win in this whole, like, demonic power struggle?
Well, it wouldn't be a Discworld story if things went according to plan, would it? Remember Vasnego, the demon lord who was, manipulating Astrical?
Oh, yeah, with all that paperwork.
Right. Well, his plan, it works. Maybe a little too well.
Oh, I love it when a villain outsmarts themselves. So what happens? Does Astrical finally realize he's being played?
Not exactly. See, Vasnego, he just keeps piling it on. More forms, new departments, committees, you name it. It gets so complicated, so ridiculously convoluted that the whole thing just, well, implodes.
It's like that Jenga game where you pull out one too many blocks and the whole tower collapses.
Exactly. And the irony is Astrical, who wanted to make hell efficient, organized, he's the one who brings about its downfall, buried under his own mountain of paperwork, lost in the labyrinth he created.
So he gets what he wanted, a perfectly organized hell. It just doesn't actually work.
Exactly. And it shows what Pratchett's so good at, right? That whole idea of, like, power, especially when you want it for the wrong reasons, it can destroy itself. Astiviol wants control, but he ends up controlled by the very system he created.
Makes you think about our world, you know? We're all kind of climbing our own paperwork mountains these days. Emails, deadlines, it never ends.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the best thing to do is just step back, take a breath, and maybe, just laugh at how absurd it all is.
Which is Rincewind's special talent. He never takes things too seriously. He always finds a way out.
Rincewind's the ultimate survivor, and the way he escapes hell, it shows a different kind of wisdom, He understands that sometimes running away is the best option. Let chaos do its thing and trust that things will sort themselves out, even if it's not how you planned it.
And what about Eric? Does he learn anything from all this?
Well, after seeing what happened to Aspriel and all that bureaucratic mess, Eric has a bit of a realization. He sees that real power isn't about, controlling everything. It's about understanding what you don't know, accepting your limits.
So he's finally learned that maybe summoning demons isn't the answer.
You could say that. He learns that chasing power, especially for selfish reasons, well, it can backfire. And maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than trying to bend the universe to your will.
It's like the lesson of the story, right? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let go.
Yeah. And that's a powerful message, I think, especially today. We don't always have to be in control. Sometimes the best thing is to surrender to the chaos, embrace the unknown, and trust that we'll find our way, even if it's a path we didn't expect.
It's funny, right? Eric and Rincewind's adventure. It's full of these crazy mishaps, absurd situations, but it also makes you think about some pretty big things. Power, fate, that human desire to control everything.
And it reminds us that even with, bureaucratic nightmares, cosmic chaos, even a homicidal suitcase running around, there's still room for humor, for hope, that human spirit to adapt, to survive, to find meaning in the most unexpected places.
So if even hell can't escape paperwork, what does it mean to be free? Maybe it's about accepting what we don't know, embracing the unexpected, and finding a way to laugh at it all.
And maybe, just maybe, it's about letting go of that need for control and trusting that the universe, as crazy as it is, has a plan for us, even if we don't understand it.
That's a great thought to end on. And for anyone listening who's feeling a little overwhelmed by, well, everything, remember Rincewind's wisdom. Run away, hope for the best, and let the luggage handle the rest. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.